Patrick Cook here. Welcome to session number 6 of Fun with Mandelbulb3D Mutations. Let's use this session to kind of summarize where we've been so far in this tutorial series. We talked about the MutaGen being used to fast track your creativity, allowing the MutaGen to create mutations that effectively will test formula construct modifications. That's certainly something you can do as well. All right, but the question is, would you? And would you take it that far deep? All right, so the MutaGen is a very powerful tool for testing whether or not changes to formula constructs are going to produce anything of any interest to you. All right. The MutaGen tool is a way to be able to increase your creativity by creating mutations based upon a formula changes to the level that you allow. All right, and that level is all in here, and we're coming up on talking about these various formula modification settings. All right, and this is actually going to be a very key part of your of utilizing the MutaGen. All right, and we also talked about the how to use the MutaGen to create keyframes. All right, and I demoed that in the last session. We're still looking at a preview of this. All I really did is I took a base formula construct, all right, and I had it only just modify the formula changes so that we could see a nice morph, all right, and I utilized, I grabbed this mutant and made that a keyframe, and then the next mutant, I made that a keyframe, and I got a pretty smooth morphing effect, all right, and I could certainly extend this. Matter of fact, why don't we do it? I don't need the MutaGen. Let's just close that for the moment. All right. Now let's go here, and I'm going to push that back up into the main editor. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you that we can also modify the camera position. We're not just stuck with morphing a static graphic. All right, so there we go. So I'm not going to make any modifications to the camera position, which I would do with the navigator. Let's get it down here. Come on, there we go. All right. All right, so let's go to keyframe number 2. Let's push that up into the main editor, calculate so you can see it. You don't have to calculate. You can push something up. I'll give you an example here. Pull the parameter in. I can do this. Let me go back to keyframe number 1. Pull that up into the main editor. And if I come over here and I pull the parameters in, you see that I'm looking at the parameters. Even though I didn't calculate, I'm not seeing this up here I'm not seeing this graphic on the main editor. So you can effectively, you have to go through the main editor. You got to push it up to the main editor, then pull it into the navigator. But you don't have to calculate the graphic in the main editor. All right. So okay. So here's my first. I'm not going to modify the position. I'm going to pull that up, calculate so you can see it. Pull the parameter in. Now let's do a move. So I'm going to slide right again. I'm going to look left again. Okay. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and we'll pull out once. Okay. Now I'm going to push that back to the main editor. All right. I'm going to use this key, or I could use the F key, and I'm going to push that back to the animator. And I'm going to overwrite this keyframe. So watch when I press any key you're going to see this graphic will pop into here. All right, so there it is. All right. Now, I want to take this keyframe, push it up to the man editor, calculate it so you can see it, pull it down into the parameters. Now I did a 2 steps, and then I looked left twice, and then I backed out once. Now I think what I'm going to do is, what I had to do here is I had to actually replicate the steps. Otherwise, the keyframe would have jerked too far. So I replicated the steps that I did in the previous keyframe. I applied those same movement steps to this. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide down and I'm going to look up. Let's just see how this works. All right, now I'm going to push this back and overwrite this keyframe. All right, that's my keyframe. All right, now let's render this preview and see whether or not we have not only morphing, but we actually have movement. So there we go. All right, so there I was sliding and looking, and then here in the last keyframe I looked down. Okay, I slide down and I look up, and that worked out good. So what this does is it demonstrates that not only can I morph between keyframes using the mutations of the MutaGen, but I can also move my camera while this thing morphs. So you can see here where you can actually use the MutaGen as a major contributor to the making of an animation, but you're not limited to just morphing the graphic. You can actually get in there and modify the camera position to give you a complex animation, an animation where not only are you modifying the graphic structure, but you're actually moving your camera at the same time. Okay? All right. Good. Very good progress here. All right. I hope you're getting a sense for what this MutaGen can do for you. Not only can it help you discover some interesting graphics faster, in other words, fast track your discovery process, but it can also help you create animations. All right? So what we're going to do next, in the next session, we're going to move ahead here, and I am going to be discussing these controls over here. Now, just as a little primer, when you pull a formula construct in from your main editor, all right, as I had said before, this MutaGen is only going to be modifying the formula construct only. Doesn't modify color, doesn't modify lighting, it doesn't modify resolution, it doesn't do any of that stuff. What it does is it only modifies the formula. So in the next session, we're going to start talking about these controls over here. Now let me just conclude this session by saying this. The real power of the MutaGen is right here. It's right here. Because these controls will allow you to discover mutations that are slightly mutated or mutations that are widely or largely mutated. The degree to which you allow these mutations to occur will have a lot to do with just how fast your discovery really is. All right? It comes down to that. If I was to take, let's disable everything here. Let's really crank that up. I'm cranking everything. Now I mutate, and you can see here how these mutations are vastly different. All right, from the base that I have. Now, if I take and disable all of these controls up here, now I mutate. You see, I have no mutations that are occurring, all right, because I have all of these formula modifications are basically disabled. They're all turned off, all right? So what I'm going to do in the next sessions, we're going to start talking about these controls here, but my little demonstration has just shown you that the degree to which you will discover your graphic mutations will have everything to do with how intense you allow these controls to be. All right, now that is the highest possible level of controls, giving us the biggest variations in the mutations from one child to the next, as you can see in this demonstration. So that's just a primer for what we're going to be talking about, this very important set of controls right here, which will, in summary, will allow you to have small degrees of mutations or large degrees of mutations, depending upon what it is that you want to do in terms of Mandelbulb graphic discovery. Okay? All right. All right, enough for here over time, but it was fun over time. I'll see you in the next session, session 7, where we're going to talk about these MutaGen controls. I'll see you there.